For a love, got to find. I gotta find. Whoa, I'm looking here and there, and I'm searching everywhere. I'm looking, I'm looking, I'm looking. Oh, looking for a love. Come on, doom, doom, doom. I'm looking for a love. Got to find you. What y'all know about that Bobby Womack? So it's your man. It's beautiful. It's fall Sunday evening, October 17th. I just have one topic I just want to share my thoughts on. I'm not going to belabor. Not going to go a long time. I'm going to give y'all a chance to get in here. So I'm going to stroll and please share this. I know those of you, a lot of you are not, who are on my friends list or subscribers to my YouTube channel. I know y'all are not graduates of Grambling State University, but you probably went to some HBCU. Daniel Jack, what's good? Chris Armour, what's good? So, I just want to give a few thoughts on what's been happening at my dear old Grambling State University. Yeah, I was there undergrad from 89 to 94, and I stuck around for graduate school 94 to 96. Shout out to the Grambling State University, I guess, College of Social Work, master's degree program. And I did not make it down to homecoming this year for a few reasons. One, wasn't ready to come down and be amongst the crowd yet. This COVID thing has really gotten me spooked. But I'll definitely be back homecoming 22. And for those who went down, I hope everybody had a blast. I hope you were safe and all that cool stuff. I enjoyed the pictures. I've enjoyed the videos. It's almost like as if I were there. Dennis, what's up? Please share this live. I may say some things. Well, hell, I don't have to give this preface statement. Y'all know what y'all getting into when y'all come on my page. Raw and uncut. Nothing deliberate. Nothing intentionally insulting or offensive, but we just have to call a spade, or just, hey, give my opinion, right? So, Molly, hey, sweetheart. Okay, so I'm going to enjoy this weather as I talk to you, okay? All right, Grambling State University held this homecoming this past weekend and even made the news. I think in Monroe Shreveport, I saw a little article where they were saying how Grambling State University alumni comes back after a year off due to COVID, and people return, to celebration. And Molly said, tell us like it is. I'll just try to do my part, Molly, because we all have a perspective, I guess. I'm just going to do my part. And so, and also, y'all, I'm fighting a small cold. The cold tried to come on a couple of days ago, but I got my vitamin C pack and all of that stuff, and I did my third flu earlier today, so you see, I'm feeling well enough where I can come out and talk to you. But that little cough, is it called a nagging cough, is still there. But I need y'all to share and tag fellow Gramblingites and others in this video. I'm also going to upload it on my YouTube channel so we can get it out there. But anyway, let me get started. Everybody, yes, y'all just come on when you get ready. No, I wasn't there, as I said, but I read the reports of the shootings. Now, it was one that happened last Wednesday morning, and it's almost as if something happened again recently as of this weekend. So y'all let me know. While I know, I'll just go from the first shooting. And one thing I noticed that seems to become so common is there are non-students involved. Let's go back to fall 20, when COVID was kind of still popping, and there were students fighting. On the campus. I think it said students from Shreveport and from other getting into it, and they were shooting guns. And I did a video on that. And I suggested that, there should be a conversation being had with the students, right? And I guess the video didn't get around to the right ears or the right eyes. See, let me share something else. Someone shared with me that they were at the football game and they didn't hardly see any police officers around. All right? I want to share something with y'all. When I was a student at Grambling State University, yes, I'm going to do some comparing contrasting here. And I know times have changed, but really, have they? The only time we saw police officers at Grambling's game, they were probably walking through on the outside of the parking lot, or they were up there by the ticket office. But as far as walking around heavily armed with a heavily armed presence in the game, that wasn't necessary, because nobody that's on this live can tell me that anything ever broke out. And it would be thousands of us in that stadium, and nothing broke out. Nothing broke out at homecoming or at the game, except for, hey, I haven't seen you in a long time. What's good? And people taking pictures and all of these things. That's all that broke out. People, arms extended wide, hugging their friends or their co-affiliation or co-fraternity and sorority brothers and sisters they hadn't seen in a while, or friends they had made from years earlier they hadn't seen in a while. That's all that broke out. But somehow, over those years, something has changed. And I put it under the umbrella of culture. See, what has happened, and I spoke about this for the longest, when we took the blackness out of being black, you have these problems. What was so great about being at Grambling State University and probably other HBCUs across the country was it was the 90s, 80s, and 90s. And black culture, neo-soul, poetry, and all that stuff was very prevalent. And you say, well, Rico, what do you mean by that? Well, see, neo-soul and poetry, that connected us as a people. And so when you're connected, you feel there's a protection that comes with being connected. And then there are those of us who will say, well, technology is different and people are connecting through social media. No, that's a shame. And I'm aware of that. But can we now see results of that? See, it's the culture. Tino, what's up? Cuzzo. See, it's the culture. And we can't sit back and not, get involved in the culture of Grambling State University. And guess what, y'all? Let me take y'all back. Shooting on Grambling's campus is not an anomaly. It's not something new. Can I take y'all back to some of those Friday night movies? No, the 9 o'clock movie. And those oftentimes when the football team was bullying or fighting the members of Omega Psi-Phi. And we had to run out of after the movie was over sometime, run out of the theater. And I remember a few times where gunshots rang out and I hit the dirt just before I made it to the student union. I hit the ground. And also, like spring 90, they were shooting in front of my dormitory called Pinchback Hall. Right? So shooting on campus is nothing new. But we survived and we made it. It wasn't a tragedy, just like part of what was going on. We didn't normalize it, we didn't make it something acceptable. And we talked about it, and we talked to each other about it, I believe. And so, but there's something that's going on. I've even heard reports where on Fridays, the students completely, a large portion of the students leave Grambling's campus to go home. And those of you who were there with me in the 90s, y'all know how the weekends were made for students at Grambling State University. I guess because it was the early 90s, 89, 90, 91, 92. All of us didn't have cars. Certainly we didn't have cell phones and social media, but we had each other. And so by us having each other, we had to communicate with each other. Even if we fell out with each other, we had to talk to each other. Because guess what? We saw you at least 4 times out of the day coming through the CAF, coming in front of the student union, going through Woodson Hall, or in the girls' dorms, the men's dorms. We saw each other all day, so conflict resolution was automatic. You couldn't roll your eyes all day, every day at somebody who's mad at. So eventually, guess what? We all knew each other who knew somebody who was cool with that person or down with that person. So we couldn't help but still make up before the weekend came. And I think there's something that's been missed or overlooked or allowed to leave the campus. I've always said, when people like me, when I graduated, along with the large portion of what's called the conscious students, not these woketivists and activists that were created by CNN and MSNBC, but actual conscious students. I think when we finally graduated, and I think the last of us left in 97 and 98, I think this other generation of folks started coming in. You know, everything is kind of materialistic and title driven. Materialistic and title driven to the point that the way we met each other was a little different. The way we met each other accounted for all the multiple marriages that came out of Grambling State University. A lot of people in my generation, I'll say generation, in the 90s, they met each other on campus and they got married, or they created families on campus and they got married because we talked to each other. We were around each other every day. And yes, social media has created somewhat of a wedge. But it's not required. That's the point I'm making. And let me tell y'all something else. There were people who were part of the administration that made sure black culture flourished. We always had programs on campus that were put on by what's called student organizations. Not only the fraternities and sororities, but people from the Texas Club, the California Club, the New York East Coast Coalition, CENLA, or South Louisiana, Central Louisiana. They had student organizations that put on events throughout the campus, in the Black and Gold Room and Adams Room 200 in the nursing building. Then we had my favorite organization on campus called United African American Men, who put on a particular programs on campus where we had something like, I would give you examples of stuff they had. They had like Meet the Greeks, where we come in and ask questions about the Greek-led organizations on campus, and meet the Masons or something. Come and ask what's the difference between Press Hall and Scottish Rite and Modern Free and Eastern Stars. No, stuff like that. We also had male-female relationships. Stuff in Black and Gold Room across the campus. We had a lot of stuff that influenced and encouraged students to interact with each other, and was also so wonderful. I even helped to found and co-produce the very first campus conversation about LGBT in 93. And my co-host was Donnie Wilson. He was an Alpha, member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. I couldn't make it because I had a class with my girl in criminal justice. I'm gonna think of her in a minute. Miss Connolly. Yeah, she's in criminal justice. I had a class with her that night, so Donnie Wilson led the discussion for me. It was first thing about gays, but I wrote the first article on these three cheerleaders who are openly gay, and I did an article on them for the Grambling Night. So we've had these discussions. They weren't that often then, but we've had, point I'm making is we had discussions. The students talked to each other on campus. And we also had, thanks to the Student Union Board, Favor Our Student Union Board, block parties on campus by the Washateria over there. And it went down, so meaning there were things that kept us, well, we couldn't help but be on campus. We were like a captive audience, right? And so we had to be. And I'm saying, you know, the administration is at fault for this. Because there now, I don't believe, it's in my opinion, you know, whoever the lazy bastard is who's over the Favor Our Student Union, I don't think he or she is doing their job. Whoever the lazy bastard is, that's the current dean of students, is not doing his or her job. Whoever the lazy bastard is, who's the vice president of student affairs, is not doing his or her job. Because all three of those persons were very active in our activities in our lives as students when I was a student at Grambling State University. See, students are still developing young adults. You can't have these people over, especially the person over student activities. Why? No. What are they doing to encourage students to be on campus even on the weekends? Most importantly, why aren't students being encouraged to ask about, hey, where's our tuition going? I mean, how come we don't have enough money to sponsor campus activities to keep students on campus. Y'all see what I'm saying? See, when a connectedness is created, then a protection is created. Now, let me get to, well, Rico, what's the solution for the shooting on campus? The solution is the students. It's culture. If you create an environment, a black environment, where they come together like we did on a Friday night and a Saturday night, me and about 10 or 12 other students will be sitting outside on the steps of the student union having a deep dialogue about whatever books that we've read. Right there, boys and girls, we're sitting there having a heavy dialogue. Or we'll be in the village at my man Zoltan, Black to the Basics bookstore, having a deep conversation. And that is part of the campus life. That is what creates the culture. When the students aren't connected, well, they don't feel like protecting one another. You know, they need to feel like Grambling State University is their home that should be protected. The same way they'll protect the car that they just bought or the home where they grew up in. The students should be made or encouraged to feel like this is where I live. And these, all 4,000 or 5,000 students are my roommates or my next door neighbors. And I want to make sure all of us going to make it here after 4 years. And that's the point I'm making. See, it takes the vice president of student affairs. It takes the dean of students. It takes the person, the director of student activities, or the person who is the director or coordinator of the Favorite Student Union Board. It takes all of them collectively to make sure that there are creative and constant activities on campus that encourage student involvement with each other. Y'all can keep on talking about technology and all this shit, but what the fuck's that got to do with anything? What's that got to do with anything? And then you have those, well, you know, the shooting has made it all in the media, and we don't need to take this any further. We don't need this. We're all one Grambling. Just shut up. You know, see, that's the behavior that old grandmother used to have when the uncle was touching on all the little girls. And grandma wouldn't tell nobody. Said, well, whatever's going on in this house, this our household. You don't take our business in the street. That's what I've been hearing from a lot of Grambling alums. You know, don't discuss our Grambling business out there. Well, everybody's discussing Grambling business now. And you need to take some of these goddamn suggestions. Pretending it's not happening or trying to tell other people not to discuss it and try to tell us how to discuss it, you got the game wrong. Because that message is over my head. I'm going to talk about it. Whatever it is. Because I was there too. I paid tuition. I paid my money, my blood, my sweat, and my tears. And that's how we should all view it. If we truly love Grambling State University, we need to act like it. And all this cliquism and shit and hiding and standing in separate categories and groups and stuff, well, that's not helping the school. And hell, even the students, they like wonder, where the hell is our alumni? You know, what are they? And we should be. And why aren't particular people invited back to come talk to the students? So the only people invited back are those who had platinum selling CDs or be sitting next to Don Lemon on CNN cussing about Republicans? Those are the only people who are allowed to come back to talk to the students? The so-called labor militants can't come back and talk to the students? I'm just saying. They're a part of alumni. Or only those who elected to a political seat? Hell, if it wasn't for the so-called conscious and labeled militant, hell, the school wouldn't have as much action and activity that it had. And then the black culture. And I'm going to direct y'all to my blog, Rico the Opinionist. I'll leave it under this YouTube, in the description box, where you can go. I wrote an article posing the question, is black culture, black consciousness part of Grambling State University and part of HBCUs? I personally don't think so. You know, do they know anything about Dr. Francis Cress Welsing? Do the students know anything about Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. Joy Leary, Dr. Julia Hare, Dr. Ben Yakahana, and Dr. Ivan Van Cernema? Do they know anything about the scholars Neely Fuller? Do they know anything about it? See, it's the culture that connects the black kids. Or do we have a campus full of, like a lot of these black college campuses, all they worrying about is a bunch of goddamn LGBT and trans and all that shit and women's rights, gender studies. That stuff is not helping black kids. Because one thing about it, some people say, well, you know, Rico, you don't want to be all in that black stuff. Well, a lot of folks who's on that black stuff, they're working in corporate America, business owners, and all kinds of stuff. Tops in their fields of majors and fields. There's no hate tip in this sugar. You know, that one needs to be brought back. And I know there are people who didn't agree with the quote-unquote black stuff back then. They're the main ones that saying we need to keep Grambling business and Grambling business. Well, you probably should have got involved in the black stuff. Because, see, the lack of the black stuff and the black consciousness is what's causing the shootings. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not saying it's causes, but it creates an environment where students aren't safe. Let me share another story with y'all. When I left North Memphis, got the hell out of there, I left my situation, my household, foolishness. I'll just say that. Domestic violence and cussing and fighting, pimping and hoeing, foolishness. When I arrived at college, D. Grambling State University, January 3rd, 11 o'clock a.m. on a Sunday, the first person I met from Grambling who helped me with my luggage, his name was Frank. I don't know if Frank was a Kappa or not, but his name was Frank. Light-skinned dude with fluffy curly hair, had a 3-day shadow. He helped me with my luggage all the way back to wherever Frank is. What's up, bro? What's up, Prince? Wherever Frank is, thank you. He carried my big suitcase, and I carried the other two on top. No, he carried one of my suitcases, and I carried my big one on top of my head. He carried my other ones all the way back to the other end of the campus, from the Grays bus station there, all the way to Pence back to the back of the damn campus. Come on, somebody. And so that I left school, and when I got to college, hold on, let's see. Got Molly. Hold on, y'all. Molly. Molly said, we ain't gonna talk about the police department. They be on their phones too and booty watching, Molly. Okay. And so, but anyway, when I left Memphis, Tennessee, North Memphis, shout out to Hollywood Springdale, you hear me? And I in my mind, I was moving to a better place, and a place where I can be protected and I can start my life over. What has happened, due to the fact that black consciousness and students being given activities and encouraged activities by the dean of students, vice president of student affairs, and obviously whoever the person is over student activities and favor our student union, they're not encouraged to do various activities that encourage involvement with each other. See, what has caused this particular mindset. Now, again, we had people that come from all over the country who were not college-minded. I wasn't either. I was groomed into it. But I knew I wanted to leave my home and my situation, right? And so the element of what's called thug behavior was there. Yeah, because it was open admission and people coming all in, and they were quickly weeded out. They flunked out or they just moved on. But college is supposed to be a place where it's a separate place from when you go home, from home. It's supposed to be a place where, okay, this is the place where it's supposed to be the stepping stone or the pathway to upward mobility. You don't go to college to continue. If you're about that life, you don't continue that life at college. We had cats from California, you know, messing their fingers up, yo, cuz, and all that shit. And we had cats from parts New Orleans. We had some dudes out of Texas with the shit. But guess what? After the Louisiana sun hit them, and they started seeing all them cute girls from Louisiana and from California, that kind of chilled all the way out. My New York brothers were always the coolest. Grambling probably need to recruit about at least 300 students from New York. Cause they, man, come on, they brought culture and the coolness. So we have to let the students know. You don't come to college to bring your sagging. You don't come to college to bring the hood to college. And you don't come to college to still be hanging out with folks who are not students. Did y'all hear me? Let me tell y'all something else that's not new. That's not new. Non-students being connected to a college campus. When I was a student at Grambling in the 90s, there were people who were non-students coming in and sleeping on people's floors in Drew Hall and Pinchback and Knott's and Holland. But it was something different about that. They knew they weren't students, and they shut their damn mouths, and they didn't want to be seen or heard. Did y'all hear me? They didn't cause no ruckus. They just blended right on in. They blended right on in. Because see, what's happening there is nothing new. It's just a culture. It's been a culture shift. Even those who didn't go to Grambling, they hung out on the campus all day long. Some of them slept in people's dorms and stuff. You never knew it. Some of them might have snuck in and ate in the calf. But they never knew. You know why? Because it was a different culture. They knew us. Shit, I ain't a student here, so I don't need to be seen or heard. I just need to blend on in. Probably got a chance to kick with some of the chicks there. See, right now, these people are friends bringing these non-students in that's probably hating on haters. Man, these college motherfuckers, they think they be the next motherfucker. You know, bringing these little low self-esteem, jealous-hearted little bastards on the campus, and they think it's all right to shoot pistols on the campus. College campus is supposed to be the place of protection and a sacred place where young people are going to carry on the next level of their lives, not continue the foolishness. That's what we need to be talking about. And that's what needs to be encouraged on the campus. You don't come to college and bring your same bullshit to the campus. That needs to be encouraged. But is the administration on top of that? In my opinion, I don't think they own it. When I've gone back for homecoming, I don't feel that black culture on the campus except when we come back. See, we're part of that era where black culture and consciousness was real. And a lot of young students there will act like, dang, how y'all know each other like that? Y'all just be partying because all we had was each other. And I need today's college students to recognize on that campus, that's who you have. That person in class with you, that person in the cafeteria with you, that person walking up and down the steps and going through the student union, that's your person, that's who you. And need to teach them how to put the damn phones off, turn the phones off, put the laptops away, and say hello to each other. That is what needs to be encouraged. This is my free advice to the current administration there. The person is over the Favorite Student Union Board, the Vice President of Student Affairs, and the Dean of Students. Get off y'all lazy ass and become personable to teach the students how to become personable under the umbrella of black culture. Because all this trying to mainstream education and all that, they're going to be fine. They're learning all the basics they need to learn while they're in school, because when they get out here in the real world, they're going to be taught what they're supposed to do on their jobs. You understand? Yeah, the shit ain't rocket science. We're too busy trying to be something that we're not. We're a black culture. We're black colleges. That's how Grambling became great, because it is a black college. And we're getting away from that, trying to become too goddamn mainstream. Yeah, shootings and all that stuff is going to continue. The low morale and all that stuff is going to continue. And then the theme of homecoming having to be unapologetically black. Oh, really? And by the way, this is not an attack or an insult to the kids, to the students. Not at all. It's become a meme, unapologetically black. I have t-shirts that say unapologetically black, male, and straight. That seems to be the word you're supposed to say, unapologetically black, male, and straight. Yeah. No, where are the cool t-shirts? I don't know. Maybe I have to visit the campus more to see if there's a black culture there. But you can't have culture if you're not hanging out with each other. Black culture is a gathering. Black kids are hanging out with each other. Not in a caf and not just in class, but coming out in the halls. Woodson Hall, hell, there was a gathering place in Woodson, because I'm a psychology major, criminal justice major, so my building was Woodson Hall mainly. And there was always meeting and gathering going on up in there. In that hall, between classes or hell during classes. Sometimes, young people skip class and shit. I'm just saying. That's the solution. If you go, well, Rico, what solution? Create black culture. Introduce the books. Bring the people there who talk about us being connected as a group, and leave all that other liberal, democratic, political bullshit out of it. We were able to handle the politics, but all it is now is politics, and politics of sex, race, and all this kind of shit. Black culture. You know, bring some masculinity back on the damn campus. Daniel Jackson, Woodson Hall, yes sir. Bring some masculinity. That's another thing that's probably missing in all these little pistol-toting, pistol-shooting little bastards. A lot of them didn't have no dads or have no decent role models growing up, so the first thing they want to do is pull a gun out. Hell, y'all tell these college students, stop making friends with these insecure bastards. Make friends with everybody who's in class with you. Make friends with people who are going to internship next summer with you. Don't make friends with these people who are not college students, because they are not like you. Is that preaching some kind of elitism or separatism? Yeah. I'm saying I want to preach familiarity. You used to be in the streets, but you're enrolled in somebody's university now. You used to be. And let's move on. I know that's what's going on in American hip-hop, American TV, all the love and hip-hop shows, Black Ink, all that, thug and hood is what they're always selling right now through mainstream America. That's what they want to sell to black kids and sell to America. Hood English, hood look, hood and thug behavior. But on the college campus, we should be better than that. And culture and black consciousness has almost been completely erased. There isn't a balance there. Because if there was a sense of protection among the students, meaning this is our house, you're not going to bring your ass out here acting a fool, these things would not be happening. People would not have these little neighborhood, these little home hood fights. Now again, that happened when I was there as a student. New Orleans, people from New Orleans are always trying to fight people from Texas. Always trying to get into it. And people from New Orleans, I don't care. As long as New Orleans exists as a city, or Southern Louisiana, they're going to always come on the campus thinking they can whoop everybody's ass. It's just something in the water there. Maybe something in the gumbo there. The old folk think they can whoop everybody. New Orleans versus everybody. It's always been like that. And I love them, my New Orleans folks. Hey, baby. But they had these, but then after a while you get to know them, they're pretty cool. But it's like they come through admission with their fist ball. And I just want to say, I don't want to belabor this. Let's encourage the students to look at each other as someone they need to protect. And then they'll look at you while as a student on their campus and across in HBCUs as someone who deserves protecting. And the way that's done is you have to connect them culturally. Get them to talk to each other, because I know they're from different parts of the country and the world. Get them to ask questions about, so what's it like in Chicago? What's it like in Mexico? What's it like in New York? What's it like in California? That to me was cultural diversity. I got to meet people from all over. New Orleans, deeper parts of Mississippi, Chicago, Detroit, New York, Bristol, Connecticut, Denver. I got to meet black folks from all over and get to hear what their dialects were like when they spoke, and what the music they listened to was like, and the dance moves and all that stuff. That's how you create a connectedness, and that's part of black college life. And usher more consciousness. Campus is not just Greek life. It's a myriad of things. But today it seems like all they push is Greek life, and that's not fair and that's not cool. See, what happens is, after 1998, I think it happened across all the HBCUs. The Rico Riverses of the campuses left. There went the newsletter. There went the opening up the options as it relates to thinking. There went to all of that. So maybe Grambling needs another Rico there. If I can see a male or female who's down to get this work, I'll train them and groom them. So this is what you're talking about, and this is how you do it. That'll even get the top leadership of the university want to call you in the office and have a meeting with you. But all that is to get you to stop talking about what you're talking about. I think they've eradicated, and also bring people together in a sense that, you know what, that person's right. We do need to look out for each other. And that's the secret. And they can hire more police officers have all these metal detectors. They can do all that. But you know who has the guns? The guns before the police know? The students. They know who the pistol toters are. They know who the pistol shooters are. So when you talk to the students, impart upon them, look, protect your campus like it's your home where your mom and daddy live. Protect each other as if they were your real biological brother and sister. Protect each other and talk to each other. Get to know one another. Put those damn phones down. Close that laptop and come outside. Don't go home on the weekends. Create an activity. Student activity committee, who was ever over that. Create activities. Bring the DJ out. Create some of those like Olympic games and shit. Do stuff to bring the kids together. And talk to each other. And enjoy like we did. So when y'all come back to homecoming, y'all be like us, man, shutting the place down. Instead of acting like you went to a PWI, you don't hardly know nobody but a few black folks. Yeah, y'all got access to more black folks than you will have in your whole life. Because anybody who attends a PWI can't tell you that their homecomings come near as crunk as ours. Because it's a family. The black college is a family. If you go back to why they were created, then I think that humbleness has started hitting you. Black colleges were created because your grandmother could not have gotten her degree from a PWI. She couldn't have been, your grandfather would not have been allowed on that campus unless he was mowing the lawn or doing some other menial labor. He couldn't get a degree there. So that's why Booker T. Washington sent Charles P. Adams, gave an assignment to go, he and his wife Martha Adams, to come to North Louisiana and open up what we now know as Grambling State University. And they had to do that all around, open up schools, because they weren't allowing black folks to go to their schools in large masses. So they created other schools. And we call them HBCUs. We can get into the other stuff later. So that's my part on it. That's my solution. Vice President of Student Affairs, get off your ass. Dean of Students, get off your ass. Director of the Favorite Student Union or the student activities, get off your ass and get involved personally with the culture of Grambling State University. So, what I mean by not just campus culture, but black culture. Bring it there and invite people there and talk about and get the students engaged and talking about, you got the money. Why the hell you think students pay tuition? You think it's just there for your salary? Or to fund Miss Bayou Classics crown and dress and shit all every year? Or to fund all the homecoming activity? That's their money too. And I want students to hear this. Make these people spend their money, spend your tuition fees on what you want. Every time I look around, every time I look on Facebook, there's some money they done spent tuition fees on students who probably don't give a shit about homecoming queen, Bayou Classic shit. Yeah, spend some of that money on stuff that brings students together. Bring speakers in that talks about that. And talks about how they should be invested in their education, not only academically, but socially and culturally. That's what Grambling State University needs. And Grambling can take the lead on this, because the other HBCUs seem to have gone the way of, well, we are mainstream. It ain't about that black stuff. Well, we are people. All right, keep falling off then. And then we can cut down on a lot of foolishness if we start protecting each other. Teach the students to protect each other. Got it? I thank y'all so much for listening. That was just my thought on it. Please share this if y'all want to. I'm out. This is your man, Rico the Opinionist. Or this is Rico and his opinion. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Rico the Opinionist. Y'all be cool. We'll talk again in the future. Peace. Try it again.